Hello everyone. This week brings us a change that you may be already feeling or anticipating. Uranus is moving into Gemini. Things can feel really uncertain. Things that felt stable internally and externally can really be shifting. So this is for you. This is guidance for this week and the changes that we may all be going through. Welcome to the Oracle of the Central Sun. I am Michelle, and this is going to be a I Ching guidance for this specific week of 24 to 30 April. Now, the astrological energies that we are in right now is very much a lot of new beginnings, new cycles, fresh starts, with all the energy we've had in the sign of Aries. And this week, depending on your time zone, on the 25th or 26th of April, Uranus is now moving into the sign of Gemini, where it will stay until 2033. So this is very much a new cycle starting. Uranus brings us a lot of change, and the reason that it can feel disconcerting is that Uranus can be very volatile and things can happen very fast. And with Uranus, there are these instant pivots. You thought you were going this way, there's an experience, something happens, and you need to instantly pivot and go in a completely different direction. That is one of the main energies that we are dealing with this week. And generally with Uranus in an air sign like Gemini, things can happen even faster than what we've been used to the last 7-8 years while Uranus was in the sign of Taurus. Uranus in Taurus felt more like a lot of earthquakes because that was an earth sign. And yes, we could have been asked to pivot quite quickly, but things would have felt more solid and challenging to actually change and pivot on. So now with Uranus in Gemini, there can be a lot of very instant shifts and changes. And bearing in mind that for most of us, currently with our current lifespans, we only really experience Uranus in a sign once in a lifetime, because it takes 7.5-ish years to travel through one sign of the zodiac. So I asked for I Ching guidance specifically for this week, 24 to 30 April. And it feels very apt what I received from the I Ching, as it is hexagram number 3. And in different translations of the I Ching, this is either called beginning, sprouting, or chaos. So you can really feel into those words and feel into those energies. It really feels like a place we are at right now. With Uranus shifting signs, it can feel chaotic, especially if you have planets or points at the start of Gemini or other signs where Uranus is now making an aspect to you as soon as it moves into Gemini. For sure, if you have those kind of aspects, you are going to feel it this week. And that energy of new beginnings and the energy of sprouting. So I want to give us all 5 things to consider for this week. 5 things to consider for change, sudden change, things feeling chaotic, beginnings in general, and new ideas sprouting. So the first thing that this hexagram number 3 guides us about is this energy is all about something new wants to come forth. And we may not even be consciously aware that we need this change yet. But yet, when the energies are shifting, something wants to come, something new wants to come, something we have never experienced wants to come. We're in a new sign, we're in a new experience for the first time in our lives with this shift. Now, we did have a short trailer between July and November last year, when Uranus briefly moved into Gemini and then retrograded again. So you can think back between around the 7th of July and the 7th of November, what changed and shifted for you then, and what new experiences did you experience? I often find that the trailers, when these outer planets move in and out of a sign again, they're a much lighter version of what is to come, but they're very good to look at to see what energies will be there. Now back to this number 1 guidance to consider. Growth can be uncomfortable, even when it is for our highest, even though we know we are moving in the right direction, and especially when with Uranus we are being asked to suddenly change direction. This can be super uncomfortable, and sometimes with this things can feel heavy, and it can feel, especially with the Uranus energy in Gemini, that a lot is happening at once. So this is the first thing to consider, that it's going to be new. It might feel uncomfortable. It might even feel heavy and chaotic, and a lot can be happening at once. And then number 2, this is a change and a new cycle, and it can be challenging and exciting. And what is important here is to take the long view. So yes, this guidance is for this specific week, and yet the guidance is whatever is happening this week, whatever is new, whatever is changing, whatever is transforming, try and go up and zoom out and see if you can get that long-term perspective. Otherwise, it might feel like a lot just to hold for a day, a week. That long-term perspective can be very, very valuable at this time. And then the third thing to consider is to be open. To be open to change your mind, or even an opinion, a stance that you've held for a long time about someone, something, an experience in your life. Be open to a complete change of opinion, of direction, a complete change of mind, and also be open to offers and experiences that the universe are bringing right now that you may not have planned for, you may think you don't need, and yet what is showing up right now is right on time for us and exactly what we need. And then the fourth thing to consider here is to find support and help if you need to. In hexagram number 3, one of the things that is said a couple of times in my translation is that the finding support can be crucial at this time. So if you are going through something and you need support, please look for support. If something exciting and new is starting that you need to pivot into, that you need to build, and you need help in terms of physically getting something done, also look for that kind of support. Those two kinds of support can be very, very valuable at this time. And then the fifth thing that is for us to consider at this time is to find an internal or external base. So when things are shifting and changing, things are feeling chaotic and volatile, some kind of base can be absolutely invaluable. And by that, I mean your favorite chair that you sit in every day to have your cup of tea. Something that makes you feel grounded and solid. Your daily meditation practice, your daily walk or run or yoga session that you just do for yourself at home. These small things that seem so trivial can be an incredible base for us at this time where a lot is changing, and especially things that are based away from technology. Yes, we can relax by watching YouTube or series or whatever, but this kind of base is more related just to ourselves in terms of being still, doing some yoga by yourself, doing some breathing by yourself, going for a walk outside. That kind of base is going to set you apart from a lot of people that may be really challenged and falling apart when change is upon them. So these are the 5 guidances and considerations I wanted to offer. I will link my Uranus in Gemini video that is related specifically for each rising sign and where you will experience this shift. I'll link that at the end of this video. And yes, I wish you such a beautiful change, opening, growth experience while we are going through this change. And the last symbology that I want to offer for you to contemplate, because it's very good for the subconscious mind to have a very visual symbol to hold on to in times of change. And the symbol is that very, very moment when a plant is sprouting and that little seed and a small amount of growth needs to break through the crust of the earth to actually come forth. That is the symbology and a great analogy for where we are at this point in time this week, is that there's growth, and yet we need strength. We need to be open to new things and new experiences, and just feel into how challenging it can be for that little plant to have a breakthrough into something new. And yet it can be such a beautiful experience, and it is a completely essential experience. Thank you so much for being here. Please see my links below. I am offering my monthly Moon Wisdom Lab, which is a beautiful month-long journey where you get guidance and support to embody the moon phases more deeply and to walk with real spiritual guidance with a lovely group and personal guidance from me for a whole month. And I'm also still offering all my other offers on my website, my personal sessions, which you can connect to in many different ways. Get in touch if you have any questions. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you again very soon.